Hi everyone, I'm Nadia, and in today's video my mom is making a beautiful set of 3D flower resin coasters. She's first making sure that her molds are clean by going over them with some tape, and this easily picks up any small dust particles or fibers. Now she's ready to mix in her resin, and in today's video she's using Artline's Extra Honey Epoxy Resin. This is a great resin to use for 3D flowers because it's high viscosity. This allows for beautiful movement within the pigmented resin and can prevent it from blobbing. It's a 2-to-1 ratio by weight, so she's measuring each part by using a small kitchen scale. Then she mixes each part together well for 3 to 5 minutes. This resin has a working time of about 20 to 30 minutes depending on the size of the project that you're working on. And to achieve beautiful 3D flowers, you'll want to wait till around the end of your resin's work time. But you also want to be careful not to wait too long. Now she's taking Deppon's Luxury Gold Ghost Pearl on this brush and applying it onto the edges of the mold. I'll have Artline's resin linked in my description along with the discount code if you want to give them a try, and as always I'll have all of the other products that you see in this video also listed in my description. She uses an alcohol wipe to clean up the surface of the molds. Now she'll be separating her resin into smaller cups where she'll be adding in her pigments. But first, she makes sure to set aside plenty of clear resin. The first pigment she's using is Liquitex's acrylic ink in the shade Transparent Burnt Umber. She adds in a couple of drops into her cup of resin and mixes that in. Next, she's using Artline's white pigment paste, followed by Artline's gold pigment paste. And in a small amount of resin, she adds in some gold leaf flakes, which will be the center detail to her flowers. She adds in some of these small white beads, as well as these even smaller gold beads. Now she's ready to start pouring into her molds, and she starts off with the burnt umber pigmented resin along the edges. She's trying to be careful not to apply too much, so she's applying it with a silicone makeup brush. Next, she pours her clear resin into the center. Now she takes her white pigmented resin and pours it around the mold. She's pouring it sort of in a squiggly motion, and this can create a really nice shape for your flower petals. And she does the same with her gold pigmented resin. Using a wooden stick, she carefully adds in her center detail. Now she's using the thin side of her wooden stick to create flower petals, and she's doing this by dragging the stick from the outer edge of the mold into the center. She uses her leftover resin to pour into this flower-shaped mold, which she'll be turning into a bowl. To turn your resin piece into a bowl, you still want your resin piece to be soft and flexible once you demold. This amount of time will vary depending on the resin that you're using as well as the size of the project that you're working on, but can typically be anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. If your piece has fully hardened by the time you've demolded it, you can go over it using a heat gun, and that heat will cause the resin to soften and it'll make your resin piece a lot easier to move around and manipulate. All she does is place it into a bowl and then sets it aside to continue its hardening process. The next day she comes back and it's fully hardened, and here's what it's looking like. Because she did this pour after she did her coasters, more time has gone by, and you can see that because of this there wasn't as much movement within the resin, and it didn't create the same flower petal effect as you'll see now in the coasters while she's demolding. She had a little more leftover resin after pouring into the flower-shaped mold, and then poured the remainder into this tea light candle holder mold. And here's the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Follow me on my Instagram, Summer Girl Designs, and my mom's Instagram, Wild Heart Resin Art.